What lessons have you learned throughout your life? And what lessons have you still to learn? Hello and welcome to the Bottled Imp, exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyter, and today we're going to be looking at the short film Lessons Learned. Now, this is a first for us. We've not explored the realms of fantasy in its short form, so that'll be interesting. This is directed by Toby Froud, who, his claim to fame, I'm sure he's done other stuff as well, but his claim to fame, apart from this, is he was the baby in Labyrinth. Whoa, that is quite a good claim to fame. And this short film has the executive producer Heather Henson, who is the daughter of Jim Henson, and he obviously did The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. And that's where we touch, because this is very inspired. This basically takes us back to those worlds, The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. It takes us back into those realms. So let's just find out exactly what lessons we will be learning. Lessons learned. What's the setup? What is it all about? Well, the story is about a young boy. It's his birthday, and he visits his grandfather, and it seems like that's a regular occurrence when it's his birthday, because they seem to have a tradition of birthday cake and tea. And what a better way to spend your birthday than having cake and tea. And this time round, there's a slight difference. The grandfather, instead of giving what you would consider a normal present for a boy, he actually gives the boy a box. It's just a little wooden box. And of course, the boy's a little bit, what's this? I'm not that impressed. But the grandfather says, well, this is where you actually store your lessons learned, in the box. So the boy opens the box and, well, there's nothing in it. Well, in fact, there's just a little bit of dirt. And I think that's representing the fact that we come from dirt, and then we have to learn our lessons through life. And the boy, he's fine with that. He's okay. But he notices in the room there's a bigger box that's similar to his, but it's bigger. And he says to his grandfather, is this your box? Your lessons, are they all in there? And the grandfather says, yes. And of course, curiosity gets the better of the boy. He opens it up and he falls in. He falls into the box. And, well, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the box because, well, that's the main part of the story. That is where all the fantasy happens. Also, there's a good theme that runs through this short film, and it is Lessons Learned. That's what the theme is. It's very obvious. It's the title of the film. Now, with a short film, that's an interesting concept. What can you do it's 60 minutes long. How can you get your theme across in 60 minutes? Now, with a short film, it's probably best to only go for one theme. And so what he does is there's a little series. He explores his grandfather's lessons himself. And so he's exploring it, and we get little vignettes of story. And then, once he has gone through that, there's the payoff, because there's an even bigger lesson to be learned, and that's everybody has their own lessons to be learned. So he was delving around his grandfather's, and he didn't quite understand what it was all about, and he didn't comprehend them. So there is a bigger lesson to be learned. So I like that. It's one theme plus another theme that does run concurrent. The fantasy elements are beautiful. This is a really, really beautiful production. The production values are excellent. It was a Kickstarter project in 2013. It raised $53,000, and you can see where that money's spent. I watched a making of video, and yeah, proper crew, proper camera work, as you could imagine, proper cameras, proper equipment, proper set, and because it's live action puppets, they had to, build the sets quite high up, and so you've got the puppeteers, doing that and hiding underneath. Really fascinating way of filmmaking. The puppetry is superb. They look realistic. It's full of character. It is like you're stepping into the set of Dark Crystal or Labyrinth. It's got that same feel. really love and care and attention has gone into this. The acting is really good, so the puppets, you kind of forget they're puppets. Like all good puppeteering, you believe in the characters. The voice acting is beautiful, and the story is such a simple idea, but again, I like that. It's got that folk tale type story. Oh, did you hear about, the boy who fell into the box and this and this happened? Beware, it had that feel to it. Really, really loved it. And the other thing I would say is that it made me want more, and I think that's a good thing. You could say, well, was I left with a feeling that something was missing? Kind of, but not in a bad way. Sometimes there's something that's missing in a book or a film, and you feel a little bit empty. I felt I wanted more. I wanted to know what happened. I wanted the little individual stories, the lessons learned. I wanted them to be big. So basically, I wanted a feature film. And they really could have explored all of these lessons learned. So in a way, I do adore this. I would totally recommend it. As I say, it's Kickstarter. You can buy it from their website, which is Stripy Pajamas Productions. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was a fascinating project, and just the sort of short story that would inspire you if you're ever thinking of making a film or going into puppeteering or just writing fantasy. These are the stories that inspire you. It did remind me a lot of also Jim Henson's The Storyteller, where you have a setup where there's an innocent person that's sort of trying to work out his place in life and where he's going, and things happen and he has to be on his guard, and he develops as a character. He learns something. So I would definitely check this out. That's Lessons Learned by Toby Froud. Lessons Learned. Short film. First for us. I'll be delving into more short films if they're as good as this one. Thank you so much for watching. We have obviously other reviews. We've got board games, we've got films, and we've also got books. And we also do a writing fantasy and imps journey, which is basically my journey of how I wrote my children's book. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. And of course, we've got a Facebook page and Twitter and our own website. Check all those out. Until the next time, remember to keep it unreal, especially if you're a puppet.